How can $11 change your life? That's the question that started this channel, and it's the question that's gonna end it, baby. Since making that initial elevenaire video, I've finished college, had 3 kids with my beautiful wife, moved to Minnesota, and I've woken up from a 6-month delusional coma. I've even bought 2 Archie Comic tumblers from the Archie Comic website because I forgot I bought the first one. I also met a bald man and got $11 from him. So I'm pretty sure I've met the elevenaire. It's been a great year. And now, it's finally time to see the end of the saga I've been chasing for the past 12 years. Let's sit back, relax, and crack open a comic one final time. Just like the Justice League, we open on a flash. Though instead of a crime, we're met with teenage shutterbug and local heiress Veronica Lodge. Cricket asks Veronica why the fuck she just blinded her, and Veronica tells Cricket in the nicest way possible that she's taking pictures of weird shit, with Betty jumping in from the street to corroborate that theory. Cricket responds by telling Betty she smells a broke bitch and makes a clean getaway from the murder scene. Betty and Veronica proceed to the chocolate shop, where Veronica foreshadows both a critical plot point and the future state of her body after her many cosmetic surgeries. Betty leaves, and Veronica is accosted by a bald man wearing sunglasses indoors. It's him! That's the guy! Who hands her $11 and threatens to kill her if she says anything. Veronica is amused by this turn of events and decides to play along with the mad machinations of the mysterious elevenaire. The next morn, because Cricket is Irish, Mr. Lodge calls his daughter shit, and she says nah, but check out this frame, fam. Veronica forgets about both the $11 and her rule of taking photos of extraordinary things and drives out to the country to take some photos of this fence. Unfortunately, while shooting her camera like Slipping Jimmy with a law degree, she slips into a hole and presumably falls to her death. She really needs to pay attention to that recoil. At the Lodge house, the sound of sirens alert Archie to the fact that Veronica is missing. Archie suggests a search party, but the police won't do anything about it because of the classic not missing long enough trope. We cut to Veronica, who is both alive and also seemingly completely uninjured. She also makes a very depressing but realistic point about the value society places on people of higher status. We all know broke-ass Betty wouldn't have made it out of that hole. Archie is at a loss until Jughead brings in local money sniffer Cricket Odell. Unfortunately, despite Veronica's immense wealth, her reliance on credit cards makes her a natural foil to Cricket's powers, as she cannot smell plastic. Betty laments that she can't believe her best friend is going to die with only $11 to her name. But it turns out that Cricket can home in on specific amounts of cash. Cricket starts sniffing all over town, narrowing down the other people with similar amounts of money, including this lady, who I suspect has also met the elevenaire. They eventually track down Veronica, and Jughead makes a good point as they head home. Veronica gives up her photography and frames the $11, having finally seen the value in cash. Wait, a 10 and a 1? He gave me 2 5s and a 1. You know what? I may have just robbed a bald guy. Well, that was the third elevenaire story, and I like how the stakes keep going up. We started with Archie getting a date, moved on to Jughead getting held accountable for his many debts, but ultimately ending up in the same place as where he started, and Veronica almost fucking dying. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Veronica's the only one who actually had her life changed. Well, either way, the story was longer, they brought in some lesser-known characters in Cricket Odell, It was a good continuation. Now, we finally move on to the last part of the elevenaire story, and the only one I didn't read growing up. I've always wondered how this tale ended, and now we get to find out together. Let's dive right in. The final story opens with all of the gang breaking the one fucking rule they were given for getting the money. $11 says the story is about all of them getting murdered for their transgressions. Lucky for them, Reggie doesn't believe them, even when Pop points out he's heard of the elevenaire from other people. Seriously, these fuckers in Riverdale have some loose lips. Reggie points out that $11 can't get you anything in this economy, and the rest of the gang hint at the non-monetary value they gained from the stranger. Jughead's fucking lying, though. We saw the whole thing. He didn't get shit. Reggie leaves after determining $11 can't change his life, and the gang gets that look in their eye. You know the one. Reggie seemingly gets called out by a ghost at the grocery store, but in a twist of fate, he is actually given $11 by a stranger. Judging by those 4 bills, it must be 1 5 and 3 2s, which is pretty classy. Reggie seems to be thankful, but is actually just a genius of sarcasm and eggs the fake elevenaire, who turns out to be Archie and the gang playing a trick. They walk back to Pop Tate's with egg on their faces, and Reggie comes back to taunt them over his victory. However, sometime later, after leaving the shop, he comes face to face with the real thing, looking a bit more like a flasher than he did before. He starts to give Reggie the spiel, and the gang runs over after spotting the exchange. Geez, all of the intrigue of the elevenaire is really getting destroyed here. The gang inquires about the exchange, and Reggie reveals nothing happened. The elevenaire only had $20 and couldn't break it. That's it? That's the conclusion I've been waiting 12 years for. That's it. I'm done making Archie videos.